Zhang, take 2, marker.
Today on the panel, I also mentioned when we talk about in general digital transformation, one industry really needed most is the healthcare sector in general. And now with AI and data play, we could provide better and faster and even cheaper solution in the healthcare industry, meanwhile, highly personalized. So for us, we've been looking at the digital diagnostic, digital therapeutics, digital life science, and digital biology sector innovation within healthcare in general. And we're also lucky enough to raise a new $120 million fund Q1 last year before market crash. So very lucky timing. So we have lots of dry powder to deploy. So since last year, this year, we're now slowing down. We're continue supporting founder, we're continue identify top founder to help them to grow.
So in your Fusion Fund, what's the stage that you'd like to see entrepreneurs? What's your investment thesis?
Yeah, so we like to invest in early stage company, which also kind of relate to my background. I was an entrepreneur myself. So with the passion of really seeing the company from the beginning to get started, we also wanted to support them when their initial get started with commercialization. So seed round is the typical stage we invest. We invest $1 to $3 million when they're getting started. And meanwhile, I reserve 2x out to 3x of initial investment to support company continuously in the Series A round and B round. So it's not only just one check. We want to continue grow together with the founder.
Wow, that's a great thing to hear about it. I think many entrepreneurs forget that in these later rounds, you could not have if you don't have a consortium around you, then you're looking to one investor to sort of see you all the way through. That investor may not have the backing, the financial capital.
Exactly. I think as you ask, different VC have different investment strategy. There's no right or wrong, it's just a different choice. But for us, have a bigger portion reserved for pro rata really help founder go through the difficult time. For example, last year and this year, we're discussing about this topic in the panel that lots of the new Series A round, B round, founder really need strong support from internal investor. The inside support also gives them stronger confidence to get new money. So having this reserve really help us attract lots of top founder to work with us.
The experience that you had as an entrepreneur, has that changed the way that you think as an investor?
I think so. That's also the motivation I start my own VC firm. It was not easy to start a brand new VC firm, especially back in 2015, consider there's so many established VC for being there like not 10, 20, but like 40, 50 years. But I really think at that time, after kind of went through the whole journey as an entrepreneur from beginning to the end, successfully sold my company, I was really thinking about what is the best approach for early stage investor to support founder, and also how to understand the life cycle. Specifically for deep tech and the healthcare company. They're very different from consumer company. So carry on all this knowledge and experience I had, I was able to really help first identify the right founder. Second, with our understanding of the life cycle, we could support them in the critical matters. And meanwhile, really leverage our resources and connection to help them to grow. For example, lots of founders think about, okay, fundraising important, we need to achieve like high valuation. One thing I always tell founders is, valuation is an illusion. The fundamental of your business is a revenue, is a partnership, is a commercialization. So that's been number one thing for us to support founder. We established a strong network called the CXO network. We have lots of CTO from Global 1000 company, including lots of healthcare company, work with us. So when we have company early stage, they're looking for partnership or contract from the large corporate. We could help them get a conversation done much, much faster.
That's incredible because I think for many of the entrepreneurs, like I look back 20 years ago when I committed myself to working in healthcare, many of the companies were, I'm going to figure out how to get up to FDA, and then it was usually an acquisition.
Yeah.
Even IPOs were not that common.
Yeah.
Well, now you're starting to find, I think we've got maybe 2 generations of entrepreneurs that don't know what happens, even when it gets into a strategic or beyond the strategic deploying into the healthcare system, into the provider networks.
Exactly.
So bringing all that forward, all of a sudden, if you had a product ready for the strategics, better capable of being deployed into the healthcare system, it seems like that's going to be a value proposition that will really get people excited.
Exactly. When we talk about, this is a digital transformation happening, large corporate are the one really panic because they realize it's not nice to have. It's must to have to integrate with technology. But it's actually take much more resources than capital to develop it in-house. So they try to be more robust and creative, working with external startup. So from what we heard through our network, most of large corporates are thinking about we need to have our data strategy. And meanwhile, they're giving bigger budget to CTO or CIO, try to give contract or partnership with startup. This is all the new opportunity for founder to benefit from. Another thing you mentioned about IPO market, I think that's also another thing kind of potentially be accelerated by this digital play in the healthcare sector. For lots of medtech company, especially medical device company, most of the exit will be limited size merge acquisition. But now with the platform play powered by digital platform, you could bundle different device or different solution, make it a portfolio. So the total size of the company could be much bigger, even over $1 billion, make it very attractive candidates for IPO market. So we have portfolio company did so for like different cancer diagnostic, turns out to be a very successful example to build this platform play. And also I think that could be another trend to really diversify the exit opportunity for medtech company. You can see like when I talk about the tech, oh my God, I'm so excited because that's the reason I feel passionate about my work every single day because we're part of the great movement right now. We could potentially support and be part of the great company in the near future. Yes, now the general economy situation is not good, but as I mentioned earlier on, crisis come along with opportunity. And most of the great technology companies started during the economic downturn. And again, we're at the time that technology innovation is the only tool we could use to improve the productivity and also efficiency. Essentially, help us overcome this challenge of the economic downturn and move to the new era.
I got out of the Navy in 1995. I worked for Applied Materials. I was a semiconductor guy. And
I'm a material scientist, by the way. I was a material science from Stanford, so I know semiconductor and applied material science very well.
So it's crazy. I look back at how we made chips then,
Yeah.
and then you fast forward, and now here, and that's the other reason I love the Chips and Science Act. I'm like, oh my gosh, here's the industry I started in when I left the military, and now here I am in healthcare seeing these come together.
Exactly.
It's crazy.
Exactly.
All of the advancements. I mean, I don't think we could have imagined the fabrication technologies that are now becoming, oh, of course we're going to do it that way. Such dense structures and complicated, the way that the interconnects are now happening. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, and also on the other side, also the expert in healthcare sector also are impact on the technology trend like AI. I was literally talking to a friend this morning. I'm like, okay, if you look at the newer generation of the AI top scientist expert, most of them also have a neurology or neuroscience background.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes, because that's very fascinating because they also try to figure out how does our brain work. Cautious, subconscious, in order to help them design and think about a better model for AI in the future.
Lu, thanks for coming by. I wish you every success with the Fusion Fund.
Thank you very much.
Lu Zhang, take 2, marker.